So, I finally watched The Walking Dead finale. As always, I'm coming late to the party, and I was actually planning to do a reaction to the episode, but I realized that I couldn't. It's not that I feel the pressure of being recorded while crying my eyes out, it's just that I wanted to experience it by myself and allow my brain to collect my thoughts. And oh boy, I feel it wasn't enough. But anyway, if you haven't seen the final episode of The Walking Dead, this video contains spoilers. I'm gonna talk about the major events in it, so yeah, you've been warned. To simply put, I don't hate it or love it. I'm in the middle. Surely it made me get a bit emotional, but that's because saying goodbye to this show is like saying goodbye to a best friend. And I already said goodbye to the comics, which I also have a video in this channel about it, where I recorded my immediate reaction, and oh well, listening to myself sobbing gives me the cringe. But anyway, lots of stuff I love about this episode, and others that didn't quite give me that sense of finale that it's labeled to be. Anyway, I'm going to pinpoint the key moments here, starting off with Luke and Joel's death. After the previous episode, our heroes are trapped in between hordes of zombies, and while attempting to escape, in the process we lose Jules and later Luke. I really liked Luke. He was one of the best additions to the new members after Rick went away, and honestly I didn't expect him to die like this. His last scene was well handled and heartbreaking. It was such a strong moment. Then we get the scene with Mercer being rescued by his sister and Princess, which was heartwarming. Mostly because Mercer and Princess are actually my favorite couple in these new seasons, as this moody general with more underneath their armor, and she is this character with an over-the-top personality that has also more behind it. Both work really well for the character that they created to cope with their pain, being incredibly depicted while translating from the comics to the show. Now, into the big one. Judith revealing to Daryl the real reason why Michonne left, being the fact that Rick is still out there and she went looking for him, was really underwhelming in my opinion. I didn't feel the impact itself. Daryl's reaction wasn't moving or satisfying, adding the fact that this revelation was the only thing that we could 100% hold to, since deep down we knew that Rick wasn't coming back and reunite with his family in this episode. So this was something I really was hoping to have more focus on, but ended up being just a loose end. The next thing was Rosita rescuing her child, and therefore falling into a horde of zombies. This reminded me of Glenn and the dumpster scene, which didn't make any sense, but then we find out that actually she got bit. So yeah, the action here accompanied by the epic music gave me the sense of an oversaturation in tone. In fact, all the action contributed to making me feel like the episode was rushed because everything happened so fast. There is no sense of urgency felt if that was the goal. The mansion exploding gave me Resident Evil vibes, with the Spencer Mansion and Raccoon City. It sure was fun to watch, but the plan for it didn't make any sense to me. One of the strongest points of this episode was Negan saying sorry to Maggie and the conversation they had after. In fact, all the scenes with these two were great, especially the moment Maggie explains to Negan her view of him. The whole dialogue was my favorite scene in this episode. Later in the episode, Daryl says the line, "We ain't the Walking Dead." I feel that it really missed the punch in comparison to the comics. It gave me some chills, however, thinking back on the whole event, everything was off-putting. Moving on to the saddest point in the episode, yeah, we lost Rosita. The moment she reveals the bite to Eugene and their interaction with him, it was crushing. Here the episode shined and really evoked one of the most important things of this story, the connection between these characters and their journey, and how it ends for some of them. Also, I love the fact that the last person she was with is actually Eugene. Such an emotional moment. After everything we get the time jump, and now Eugene has a son, everyone is happy. Mercer and Ezekiel take care of the Commonwealth. Then we see Daryl saying goodbye to Carol, and apparently in the spin-off he's going to Paris. We also get a reveal that Negan went away. Here we just have a letter given to Judith, nothing much to add, and I kinda wish they did the same as the source material did. If you want to know more about my thoughts regarding Negan in the series, I did a video a while ago, but to recap, I found the transition of redemption a little bit too much. In the comics we see Carl coming to the door where they think Negan is years after, and there's this eerie sensation of someone that we're not sure if he's still alive and if there's any threat there. It just feels haunting. actually. But that's because in the comics we get a more genuine sense of what the character is. His motivations are clear, being with the group, coping with their ways, just for its own benefit. Here in the show he becomes a part of the party, and even if rooting for everyone and even if he's funny in all scenes he's in, I don't see him as the same character at all, and I wish they wrote him like in the comics. Yes, people can change, but most change their attitude towards the situation. The darkness remains inside, and personally humanizing the villain didn't work for me here. I want to see more in this spin-off with Maggie, and I hope they do a similar ending for him in some fashion. Last but not least, Rick is back. Sort of. Not in the way that I wanted to, but it is what it is. He's being chased by some helicopter from the group of another spin-off that I really don't care about, and he's struggling to find his family. So we get a hint of what is happening here, and Michonne is after him as well. We get a cheerful monologue interconnected between these two by voiceover, recalling previous characters. That's where I cried like a baby. Seeing Rick again, recalling the whole show, so many moments this show served as escape for me, the comics as well, but then I remember that spin-offs exist, which I completely disregard. I liked Fear the Walking Dead in the beginning, but that show just went in a repetitive direction, and beyond the Walking Dead these series are a mess. There will be 3 more, Daryl spin-off, Negan and Maggie called Dead City, and Rick and Michonne, which is the one that I'm most excited about. In the end, this episode did give us a conclusion to the story currently told, but it didn't end at all for me, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next. Did you follow the Walking Dead train? Let me know your thoughts on this so-called finale. Also, if you found my channel and you like what I do here, consider subscribing and we'll see each other soon. See ya.